Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is Ruben Lane, Chief Nerd for Creative Integration Studio. I will be your host today as we celebrate May the Force. I have my weapon here at the ready, waiting for any Sith Masters to come in, but sadly, my Kyber crystals seem to be depleted. Um, Hello there. All right, I am going to try to use today as an open play day. I have a number of requests that have been sitting in the back burner. I've done some research on some that I haven't quite touched as much as I wanted to. So we're gonna definitely use today to perhaps dive into some of those. Chris gets the first round with improved notch integration. So for that, let's move forward to the tutorial page. Sweet, sweet AI. All right, let's see. Dun 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 dun. Okay. So at the moment, we let's start at the beginning, which is not AI. The beginning would be, let's start with Notch. Actually, no, let's start in AI for a second, just to prove and show a few things that are important to know when working with Notch in AI. So when you, depending on how your block is built, most of them are primarily used, in my experience, as some sort of IMAG enhancement or I don't know, a bunch of different things. But let's take a look here at this is using my default block. I'm going to select a different block, which is the default block that comes from Avo, AI Distrib. I think there's under system, no, somewhere in notch blocks. Let's do a notch. Here, search real quick. Notch player. No. Okay, well, I guess no. Fine. But I think I have. Hold on. I have stuff. Wait a minute. I have stuff. I have stuff somewhere. I'm pretty sure I have some of those test blocks here. If I go into my assets, notch blocks. Yeah, I have these poppers. Just gonna make sure that, sure. LV Neon, yeah. I wanna make this local, please. Thank you, Dropbox. So let me copy this address real quick. Control C, come over here to select, and we'll Control V. Yeah, let's do awesome. And so that should be now, if I come over here and activate notch, that's 86. And block and layer, unless you know what, let's start at notch. Basically what I was trying to get to is there's a couple different ways that you can approach notch blocks. There's some that you use as IMAG effects, and there's some that you use as yeah, here for example, let's just go ahead and open this neon block in Notch, and the ones that come that are available for free on the words, Jesus, they just The force is not with me today. All these puppies that are coming in from the Notch template side, all of those are meant to be used as effects. So see how, if you look at the structure of this block, everything comes in through, it's using a video source. So one thing that I like to do when I'm working with these is I will replace this with a I'm looking for a video processing, video null, right? And now, actually stand by 1 second. Control C, Control V. It's a funny thing. Because I have this video source, and this video source has been shared everywhere. Video source is basically how you get to feed AI's textures inside. It's like a texture patch into the Notch block, right? So this is how AI shares. It's the pipeline for that graphic control. So I can feed now from AI's texture, whatever is playing on that layer, it's gonna feed in here. Now, if I just copy and paste it, I'm going to screw myself up, which is what I just tried to do. It's asking me, do I want to make the exposed property unique? That means, because it's that pipeline, or like how I'm sharing textures with that Notch block, do I want to make sure that that video source uses the same texture, or do I want to make it unique and now have multiple texture ports so that I can feed multiple textures inside my Notch block? In this case, no, I don't want to keep them unique. Well, no, yes, I did want to keep them unique. I'm sorry, I'm going in circles. I need some more of this coffee. Wait a minute, what? Oh. Is that swag? Oh, yes, it is. And it will be available on the store soon. I'm just, this is the first of the batch, and I'm testing it out, making sure it meets my stringent quality control before I make it available in the shop, but it's coming. Also, as soon as it's 100% approved, which will be by the end of this week, after 2 or 3 dishwasher runs, I will start raffling to those who follow, subscribe, and like this page. So, anyway, moving on. Where was I? Right, video source and this whole mess. So, because I like to be able to test things inside of Notch before having to completely export my block for media servers, I like to put insert node, post effects, not post effects, Ruben, video processing, video null. I like to pull a little video null in the mix. 2 and 3 in this case, and then I can just all those go bye-bye. Basically, this video null is acting as a in-between point between my video source and the processing that happens in that block. Why do I do that, you ask? For this very simple reason. I need to activate my camera, which will make it the other one, since the other ones is not. Ruben, you are being silly. You forgot to plug it in. I wonder if it will see it, or do I have to restart? Much like AI, if you plug in new hardware into Notch, it will ask you, you need to have the hardware plugged into Notch before you start it up. So it pulls all those devices into its system assets. Right, so here we go. So right where we were at, video source, insert node, video processing null, dun, 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 dun. We're gonna make sure that video devices is enabled. And we're gonna select the 920 camera that's there now, yay. And one thing that I've noticed with Notch, once you select the camera, you have to go back and actually will be allowed to select other resolutions, for which I'm not sure why that is, but you know, I'm not since yeah, NV12 it is. Awesome. Cool. So here's my video now, and I'm gonna go and connect you here, and you pass through to these poppers, right? Because that's where those three are connected. And I'm just replacing those, basically. I'm just replacing this connection. The reason for that was so that I can now come and say, insert node, video processing, image, input output, and I'm looking for a video in source, if I remember correctly. And I'll patch this guy in here, and now there's my camera. I just gotta hit play. And so, yeah, okay, that's working. Great. So that's why I put that video node in there, because now I can just simply switch. When I'm basically done working, I'll just put this, I'll either disable or put this guy below the video in source, the video source, and that would effectively replace it for those, for that. What am I talking about? My words fail me today. It will effectively replace that pipeline so that I can use it with AI. In this case, I will come over here and say compile block for media server, and we'll put this on the desktop, and we'll call it what's this called? Neon sampler. Boink. Hit OK. We don't have to worry about it being 32-bit anymore or anything. And so we're gonna come over here, go ahead and select Notch, select on the desktop, sampler neon, and let's see if that took. As expected, we'll go to 86, doink, put that in 0, yay, that took, awesome. So I can now change my values as I wanted to. Great. And my trails. Awesome. That's great. Perfect. Now, check this out. If I clear the texture, nothing happens, because that block is made to work with a texture that's being fed. Be it, you know, a video that I put in there, or be it an iMac. I don't know if this iMac's gonna work because I haven't checked it. I have not edited my patches. Let's just go ahead and do a quick 920 here. We should. It's probably not gonna let me use it because I have all my webcams are currently being used between Notch and OBS and all that stuff. But you get the gist of it. Basically, you have to feed a texture for the block to work. Now, there are other types of blocks that don't require that. So we'll move back to Notch. And so I guess we can stop this and say, let's start a new block where we actually follow save changes. Nah. Leave it as is. Yeah, let's turn everything on. I like having all my options open at any given time. Not that I need to, but and in this case, we're gonna do. Let's put a couple generators on there. Let's just so that we can go ahead and tag our friend Armin in this. We will put a touche, and we'll put what else can we put on this? We'll put. We're going with 0. We definitely need a camera. Always need a camera. And we'll put a image 2D. Actually, if we put an image 2D, we don't need a camera, but we'll put it anyway. Image 2D. Doink. Right. And the texture for this is gonna be our friend the Touche. Boink. Lovely. we will specify the resolution of this trichet as a let's do 1920 by 1080, or do we want to do a 2048, and we'll just make this guy here scale 1.6 by 0.9. Does it have to be a square? I don't know. I am partial to the square trichets myself. Don't ask me 100% why, but maybe a little bit less thickness on that. And I don't want it square. And let's go ahead and add a modifier. We're gonna make that a continuous modifier. And this is part of all the things that we're going to be working on today. So we will feed this continuous modifier to, I'm going to call that the Y position, because that's kind of like the motion that I want to have it have. Where we'll hit play, and that's good. That's kind of like the top speed that I want, which is perfect. So that when I bring my speed down to 0, I can do that. If I want to have the option of perhaps going in the negative, we're gonna change this for a replace, and we're gonna set, I'm trying to remember how to do this part. In Notch, you have to, is it control shift? Yeah, if you use control shift, I have now officially changed my range from -1 to 1. So -1, 0, 1, right? And I can always, I think I can reset that. But that resets the whole thing. So control shift, no, control shift, control. Wow, did I already forget how to do it? Alt shift. Hold on everybody. I know that alt allows you to change it, but that's not what I had just done. I did, was it control and alt? Wow, oh, here it is. Okay, so if you press, if you press shift, it allows you to set, to change the variable on it. Ah, right. I remember now, okay. So if you are at the default state, with with shift, if you press on the high end, then you can change the high end, right? And if you press shift and grab the bottom end, now you can change the bottom end. So like now I have from 1 to -1 and 0. And I think that's a pretty good speed. I think that's good motion speed for what we're trying to do. Great, love it. You know what? Since we are here, I'm going to also add an envelope modifier. So that we can do a bit of fun with that thickness. Baby. Thickness right here. We're gonna link that up right up in there. I like it when you link it right there. And then we're gonna change that to replace. And that will give me a chance of doing this. Actually, do I have a need to go past 0.5? No. Do we want it? Boing, 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 boing. Everybody! Boing, 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 boing. Wow, okay. So going back to the exercise that we just did, so if I want to change my maximum value, press the shift key and bring this down to 0.5, for example. And so now 0 is 0 and 0.5 is the top. I can probably use just a tiny bit more if I don't want to see these tiny little lines in between. So we'll do shift and control. And now, yeah, that's it. Awesome. One other thing that I would add to this for that visual style that makes it scream notch, we need a glow. Because a notch block without glow, it's like AI without a render to texture. Boink. and that is wrong. That has to be, whoa, hey, Control Shift, and click on that to undo, and we'll put that on the camera. I am doing something horribly wrong because I should be seeing that. But, yes. Maybe I don't need a camera for this. Since this is just a basic effect, right? And then, is it the intensity that one? Yeah, the intensity. I like everything about it. And actually, threshold mode, no, that's fine. And what do we want? Is it softness? No, the softness is fine. Let's leave that there. There is chromatic shift. I want to do a little bit of a randomly create chromatic shift on it. Uh-oh. Is that you, Rona? Right. Perfect. That's great. And so now, same thing for this popper. We need an envelope modifier to affect the glow. So we're gonna go from here to, wait a minute, to the intensity of that glowy glow. Sweet. And now I can grab my envelope modifier and why is it? Because it's an additive. I want to replace it. I am a replace guy because replace means that whatever I send on that value is exactly what I want it to be. Cool. So we've worked on that part, and now we're just gonna rename some of this for like practicality's sake. So this is we'll call it motion control for our first parameter. Our second parameter, I already forgot what it does. Oh, the thickness. We're gonna F5 and say thick. And then last and not least, it's gonna be like, we'll call this, whoa, not scale, don't mess with the scale, just with value. Right, we're gonna call that, we call it shine, baby, shine. Even though it's glow, but I like, come on. It's May 5th, everyone, it's a holiday. It's a shame that I'm actually not doing any classes tomorrow because it's Cinco de Mayo. I may just have to make an exception for tomorrow and have a margarita day online. So, okay, so we have our three things. Now, we need to expose them parameters. Whoop, whoop. So there is a tab here called exposed. What we want to do is select these values that we want to expose and expose them. So to do that, we'll come over here to our, let's see, what's it, speed that we want to, we want to expose this parameter. So we hit the question mark. Yay! So we can now hit here and say, okay, I want to go from, it's going to be called speed. And when I show the parameters here, it's going to be, let's say I want expose group name, motion control, expose name speed. Trying to remember if this is exactly how I want it. Minimum value, I want it to be -1. I think. This is going to be interesting. -1. Hey, you, come here. Come here, you. What you doing? -1 to 1. Maybe we need to do a 0.0 here. And I want to hit OK. So that's been exposified. Then thick, we're going to do the same thing with this value. Doink, expose it. Kind of call it thick. Expose property. See, this will be interesting. Is this thick name or group name the one that gets exposed? I'm not sure. So let's do a test here. We'll put thick name, and this guy will name thick group name, and that way we'll see when it's exposed what it is that we're going to look at. Do I need to set my minimum maximum value? Not really, but the minimum value is 0. We'll make it so. 1, 0 to, we said, actually, Let's not set it on this one for research sake. And I wonder if readable. I'm gonna be very honest. There's not a whole lot of documentation. I've actually asked on the Notch users group a lot of questions about exposing parameters properly. Everyone's like, "Oh, you just go and you hit the thing." I'm like, "Yeah, I hit the thing, but that doesn't make it so that it's nice and clean." And I will shame that group and the people there because they're like, "Oh, well, it's just that D3 makes it," because I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not using D3. I want my shit to be properly labeled and arranged and organized so that, you know, it's very simple to say like, oh, you just expose it this way, and then Sock Puppet makes it so that the console automatically sees it. It sees it, but it's not live though. You have to re-expose your Sock Puppet and then re-upgrade. It's a mess, and I don't think it's fair because I should be able to properly expose my parameters per layer so that everything's like, you know, I'm the type of guy that I like, you know, like Aaron was saying in the earlier stream, I like, if I'm reusing parameters, like say RGB, I always want to make sure that RGB for color are going to be like at the top, maybe like parameters 2, 3, and 4 with maybe intensity being the very first parameter on that. Yeah, so there you have it. That's me going once again on a rambunctious ramble. And let's go ahead and expose, yeah, our shiny shine, dun, dun, shine. And we will expose it as shine. Do you shine? Okay. We've done all that, so let's see if this works. I'm not 100% sure. I think I probably messed it up. So let's project compile block from media server, and we'll call it shiny, thick, true shade. Because what else would you call this? We'll put that on the desktop of the top of desks, and we'll call it shiny, thick, true shade, or an STT, as we know it in the industry. It's gonna lose my broadcasting license now that I have one. Cool. We're gonna load that on Notch file number 2, just to have a separate slot for that. And cool, that loaded. Awesome. So that means that we're gonna take our block to the next level. And if you're not using a console, the easiest way to do it is you say 1 divided by 255, and technically that will get you there. Interesting. Look at that. So that exposed somewhat right, and I'm doing this and that's not doing anything. Now I wonder what happens if I put a texture on that layer sometime. Aha! Wait a minute, that's not my block. That's the other block. Control Shift, let's... I thought I saw it there for a second. Oh, it's there. Great. Now I want to make sure that, see, you need to feed a texture at all times for it to work. Which is annoying, I know, but it's just a texture that's like a placeholder. I'm not 100% sure of the reason why that is, but that is the case. Now, this, however, is not properly exposed. And I know that because the motion that I wanted is definitely not there. So there's something wrong on my exposure of that. Lastly, the shiny shine. It seems thick name. Wherever I put thick name, that's the name of the parameter, how it gets shown. So we'll do some research back on that. Twink. It's also very touchy-feely. And I think that these parameters may just not be normalized. So DMX value 0 is 0 and 1 is 1. Not even. All right, so that didn't come out exactly how we wanted it. So let's go back. Let's go back to the drawing board. Let's get back to the drawing board, and let's fix that. Let's do some research on this. Motion control. Let's go ahead and go back to our exposure bit here, and we did say -1, so maybe if we make it so that it is minus 1000 to 1000, maybe that fixes it. I don't know. Exposed. See, it seems like this exposed name, was that right? I lost already. So we'll put this speed here and see if that's actually how it gets shared. We'll go over here to thickness. I wonder if there's a shortcut for this property window. So thick name, so that's good to know, so that we don't have to make some weird thickness. Awesome. I'm very much about that. And then F5 doesn't do it. Maybe F6? No? There doesn't seem to be a shortcut for opening this on the quick. And then this value, shine. So, how can we make this properly exposed? I'm going to... I know. This is exactly what I was saying, Roops. So, let us... let us do one of these thingamajiggers. What if we... And I hope that's not the case, but... Do we need to add... they're not called formula... I think... they're called expressions. I'm in the wrong thing. Formula, no, they're called expression. So I'm just gonna Control C, Control before we do that. So I'm just gonna do expression's gonna be value 0 divided by 255. Modify, replace. Okay, so let's do flump. Motion. Doink. Right? I hope that this is not the case, because that would truly... If we have to normalize them inside of here for DMX control, for proper exposure DMX control, this would be a nightmare. So basically, what does that do? That makes it so that any value that I feed through here is gonna get it's gonna get the processed or divided by 255. Can you think of a way to get the current value of the modifier to display on the screen for testing purposes? In Notch? I'm not. Then I have not done such research. Yes, actually, you could. You could put it. I actually, I'm not sure if that will actually work, but you could. And I think you need a string. No, I've not yet. Let's try to solve this crisis first. So I'm going to compile blog from media server. And let's shiny thick touche again. Save. Replace it. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's go back over here and we'll say, hey you, replace thyself with my new shiny thick Truche. A trick for quickly or like to rush load a block, by the way, into the player, which is not always suggested because this is what happens. If you hover over the texture port, it wants to preview it, so it rushes the preview of that block again, and so cheers. It's just coffee, by the way. Come on, I'm not. This isn't Vegas. It's Miami. Okay, so 16 by 9, 1920, 1080. Whoop 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 whoop. Hey. Okay, so let's go back here. We're gonna do show canvas. We're gonna select our texture. And if we go over here to a 86 notch and select, oh, have we selected loaded or not? No, we have not. So let's go ahead and do that. Desktop. We want the shiny thick Truche. What? How dare you? How dare you, sir? How dare you give me a watermark? I don't think you know who you're dealing with here. '86. Flump. What is this? Why am I getting a watermark? Doink. I'm just gonna apply. Oh, you know what? I know why. I know why. Doink, doink. Here, let's just break it again. Cool. Let's go back here and say 86. Notch. Block. We want to be on. You know what? This has bugged me long enough. Bug report. Double click. Doesn't clear fields. I'm looking at you, Kieran. Right. So if we do 1 divided by 255. It's not liking that block for some reason. Or it is. Oh, there's no texture loaded. Duh. No, there is a texture loaded. What? Did you just not like it when I overrode? Okay, what's this saying? You wish. Do you wish that I was on a non-playback license? I'm gonna clear these fields. I'm gonna close that. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna close AI. And I'm going to re-export with a new file name. Because I don't know what I did wrong. So, Shiny Thick Truche or STTv2.com. Great, we've re-exportified. Let's reopen AItify. Sorry, 1 second. I have. Oh no. Dun 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 dun. Do 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 dun dun do 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 dun down dun 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 dun. This is why I have co-hosts. So when I'm doing this stupid mess, my dear co-host can entertain the audience. Not that I don't think I'm not entertaining, because I clearly am. Duh. Let's move. Okay, so we've put a texture in place. We're gonna go over here and to the notch, blockity block, and select. I'm gonna put STTV2 and just, yep, cool, 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 cool. I love you, boo. 86. Doink. All right, so this is technically working. We'll put a little bit of thickness on this. All right, so our expression works. And that's awesome. There's our shiny shine, and we have, so this should, actually, no, wait. It kind of worked. So we were able to figure out how to properly control this value. That's great. And we're able to control this value as well, the way that we expected it. But not see this. Not as it is. This does not work. So, I want to have a negative, a 0, and a positive value on that, so that I can go, whichever way I want to. Are we all in agreement that this technically should work? It's okay if you guys don't agree with me. I'm kind of crazy. I think that's, yeah. So one thing I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna put my bottom to top. Yep, bottom to top. Cool. So I'm gonna put some red texture on that. I'm going to, actually, instead of moving that, I'm gonna use my new favorite shortcut, Control arrow, to move that to layer 2. So now it's in my top layer. And I'm gonna put a red or green on layer 1. Hold on a minute. Bottom to top, yep. So here's this other thing that Senor Roops, Senor Roops was asking about, is how to make this an alpha, because currently I would have to do like something like this to make that control work. That way. So notchy notch, doink, 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 shine, and because we're doing okay, so now we need to fix the alpha issues. Yes, is that, am I correct in that assumption, Senor Roops? We want to be able to see through this glow, so for that we go back to Senor Notch. Let's go ahead and give all these guys a bit of a value. We're not gonna see it unless we go like, right, and value, great, and let's make this speed also like 100 or 200. Oh. Okay. We kind of broke that. No, we didn't. It's just that it's expecting. All right. Replace, replace, and replace. And all these guys should also be set to replace. Okay. We need to make that as an alpha, and there's kind of like a really hard way to check that unless we put perhaps maybe, okay, let's try this. What if we put another image 2D in the background? And I think Let's see if my notch theory is correct. We're gonna put a color. Hey, let's put a color to this thing. Okay, yes. So basically the render order inside of Oh, thanks, Roops. So the render order for things in Notch is similarly as like shit rolls downhill. Therefore, image 2D and orange in magenta is at the background, and this is above that. Interestingly, though, this should be outputting with an alpha because, right, this, let's check out this image 2D. Make sure that its alpha is, but that's just for that layer, so therefore it should be, Yep, I feel you, Roops. I can feel the frustration. Cause I'm getting it too. Okay, what is going on here? Maybe it's a issue here. No, that's good. Deferred rendering, VR optimizations, layer. Oh yes, blend mode. We want to have blend with alpha channel, I think, for the block. Blend. Let's try blend with that. So we'll do files, save as, and we'll call this desktop. No, not save here. The project compile for media server, and we'll call that STTV3. And go ahead and export, and then go over here, and then let's open that. Doink doink. Select Senor Desktop V3. It's loading. It's loaded. Great. And now this. If we change our, this is mildly annoying. Block. We need to be on block number 3. So easiest way to get there is 2 divided by 255. 255. Oh, I forgot to turn off the magenta stuff. So now it got the magenta in there as well. Let us, and then Control H. Actually, one thing that's bothering me is the type of glow that I put. It's kind of stupid. I put too much, not too much softness, but too much blur. So it goes way too. Ugh, dude, that looks like pepperoni. Sorry, I was like zooming my face in there. You know what? That's fine. Let's leave it like that. And do project. Now that I took that off, project, block media server, doink doink doink. On the desktop, let's call this V4. Yes, I know that I could probably overwrite, but this is how you properly troubleshoot things. You make versionings. Let's stop that so it's not running in the background, and then we will do boink, 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 boink. Desktop before. Thank you very much. Awesome. And now we're gonna do boink. So technically that would be 3 divided by 255. Ayo! That was it. Wow. Everybody. Everybody. All right. I feel so good right now. We fixed two things. Kind of. I am not happy, and I doubt that that's not yet. But that's, see, we fixed two, we broke one. So, so now we have a third thing to add to it. But, you know, we fixed two, we broke one. Or we found something else that was broken in the process. This is what I love about this open format thing. We're all playing, we're experimenting, and I really don't have much scheduled for the day, so we can go an extra half an hour. Is there any other questions out in the audience, out there in the left field? Anybody else that have any other questions while we work on some of this other stuff? I don't want to just focus on this one thing today, but I mean, this is great. Like, I'm very happy that we were able to fix that. Cheers with the new swag. Hashtag plug. Hashtag. Okay. Hashtag new mugs. Hashtag creative integration TV. Hashtag you know you want one at home. Hashtag give one to your mother for Mother's Day. I don't know if they'll arrive in time. But cool. Let's toing. So right now we understand that expressions are the way, at least until we get the Notch folks involved, which we will be able to now, like, have a educated conversation with the Notch folks. Be like, hey, listen, I was able to figure this out. It seems like I need to put an expression in this. Now, we could put conditional and a condition. Here, let's look at expressions, right? So manual page. If you ask me, logarithm being absolute factorial. Attribute shows the resulting value. You know what? While we're here, why don't we look at exposed, or expose, I guess. Exposing attributes from media servers. Yep. We done that. Yeah. Take me out to the ball. We're going to chain nodes and chain group name will be grouped together, and nodes with the same unique identifier will be combined when exposed to host applications, media servers with the unique identifiers combined. The name of the first item in the group will be used. Do we know what numerical value AI is sending to the Notchy Notch block? We do, and I think I cracked that code in that because there are ArtNet values. Thanks, Heather. Because they are ArtNet values, so we can technically only send from 0 to 255, which is why your control gets out of whack. So that's why I'm doing that divide by 255. So this is Oliver. So my theory is the following, and I can see, I've complained about this also with Notch, and you will see why. In AI, If I want a value to operate in a particular constraint, such as like from 0 to 50%, I want it to give me this, and from 50% to that percent, right? I can basically, and here I can probably pull up a practical example of that. If I move into like a media player, you will see things like B, if B equals 0, then yeah, I'm just gonna expand on this real quick because I'm pretty sure that this is one of those. Yeah. So, AI allows you to do very interesting formulas, such as like, if B equals 0, then, and if B equals 0 and A is 240, then it's between 240 and, sorry, if B equals 0 and A is greater than 240 but smaller than 255, then give me C. You understand what I'm trying to say here, right? Like I can put these conditional modifiers for variables, which I don't know that the expression engine within Notch allows for such complex formulae. So let's take a look at that formula. If we do a search, no, I think the only way that it can do that, it's X. Oh, wait. Maybe with logic. The logic nodes, jump to time, loop to time, execute, select, state machine, no. Maybe we can execute through, no, that's not it. Expressions, let's look at the expressions. It's definitely got to do something with the expressions within Notch. So, inverse tangent exponential absolute factorial, isn't that a threshold modifier? You son of a bitch. Amen. Threshold modifier. Condition modifiers. Envelopes. Or limiter. Basically, cannot be changed. At lower threshold beyond which incoming value is limited to. Upper threshold beyond. Ooh, there's a math modifier. Oh, that's this. Never mind. A math modifier is basically an LFO within AI. Let's I don't know, let's try it. Let's do, so I have my motion control and I have my expression. So okay, so here's, I don't know. We could technically have, let's open up that list. Let's look at all the modifiers that we have available. Accumulator, no. Combiner, no. Condition, yes. So we would feed this guy into this guy. This is stupid. There's gotta be a better way, right? So that's gonna give me a 0 to 1 value, and then my threshold is 0.5. Trigger mode, yo, no one's talking to you, Siri. Unchanged to true, unchanged to false. So if it's less than threshold, then Add, right? This doesn't seem like the way. And then what? And then but then if it's greater than threshold, I don't know. So let's try that. So I'm going to unhook these two for a second. Let's put an envelope modifier into the mix. Envelope modifier. If you wanna feel the fire, envelopes modifiers. Whoa. Shrink, boink, right? Did that work how I wanted it to? No. Some of these controls are stupid. Okay, so maybe the debug multiply. Basically, I have ba bum ba da bum boing bum value 255. No, I'm playing yes. Operation replace. Incoming operation. Let's go back to the modifiers. Quantizing range. What? Ooh, what's the range remap do? Let's take a look at how it works. You show me your page. I know. Ooh, range remap. This node limits the range of values that can be output and remaps incoming values to fit within output ranges. That's not what I need. Yeah. Video sampler, triggerable envelope modifier, triggerable, no, sound modifier, quantize, proximity, input selector. This is perhaps. Gradient, extractor, nope. Expression, we found that's not it. Envelope, direction, weight, motion, that's not it. Delay, continuous, accumulator, combiner, condition. Did we already mess with the condition modifier? We did. So let's see. All right, let's just get this right. So basically, we have an expression modifier, and we're gonna put a plain old envelope modifier right here and add it into this mix. And if we're playing there, basically, why is it? Hey motherfucker, why are you moving like this? Is it because I made something here? Expression value 0 divided to 55. Let's rehook this guy. Okay, so here's our motion. Here's our original motion control, and it allows us to go from -1,000 to 1,000. Really, what we need is for the speed. Here's an idea. Math modifier. We're gonna do it the same way I would do it in AI, which is I want you to go, I want a sine wave that goes from 0 to 1. Scale 1, blend amount 1. So technically, this should give me a number that it goes between 0 and 1. Right? So if I put this as my expression, replace. Sorry, my bad. I wanted to go from, is it 255 with my scale? Right, so it's moving in both directions. This is exactly what I wanted. Perfect. So it's going, actually, if anything, my scale should be 128. Let's make the speed 0.2. 1 minus 128, 2 plus 128, which is technically a DM. What? Excuse me, too much coffee. This is basically what we wanted. We're not that far off. So we are gonna make it so that current value. I think we can do this so that doink. No, because we can't quite expose that. No. Right. But this is basically what we have. It's that value is exactly where. No, it's not, because we need to send from 0 to 255. So that means that our offset needs to be 128. So it goes from 0 to 2. There we go. Okay, that's what we wanted. So this is going to give us a value that goes from 0 to 255, which is technically what we would send through through AI in a console. We would put this then through a, again, we're not 100% sure, so we're experimenting. What if we start with a condition modifier first, where if condition modifier is going to be threshold is 128, and if I am perhaps on change, if I'm less than 128, I should replace. I'm not really seeing any love coming out of that operation, so I'm already starting to think that that is not unchanged to true, unchanged to false, constant, trigger conditions equal to threshold, greater than threshold. I'm not really seeing any love come out of this. I'm either yeah, I don't think that's it. So now I wonder, could we perhaps use the input selector? No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, I'm thinking, I'm moving in my head at speeds that are stupid. And I really think it has to do something with the condition modifier, but I can't quite. Let's take a look at how that operates on the manual page. Outputs a set value once an input value meets a certain trigger condition. Shows the current value of the effect and we direct change. Base value to modify the output value with. Base value to modify. Threshold. Change the threshold for what counts towards the modifier. Trigger mode. So constant is definitely what we want, if that's the case. So we would want a condition modifier. Yeah, I don't think the input selector is the way to go. So we would feed the value. So I would hope that my threshold being 128 and this being set to constant, anytime that I am less than 128, I want to add adding. Yeah, you're right, Roops. I wish there was a way to see the number. Is there such a window in here, like an inspector? No. I don't think that there is connection monitor. No, it's not what I thought it would be. Display group editor, mainframe tab. No, timeline algorithm tracker. Definitely not the log window. Okay. Let's see. Do I have anyone have anybody gonna throw me a bone in here? Condition modifiers. I could have sworn that would be it. Current value. Oh. 0, 1, 0, 1. But wait. Add, isn't it? Oh, wait a minute. My math modifier is set to replace. Okay, hold on. So this is changing between 0 and 1. That's good. What we're not having is the output of it be blend amount. I don't know. Less than threshold. Add, multiply. No. What are we missing here? That is okay. No, because it's not giving me a. So this is just activating one way or the other. So stuck. I'm sure there's gotta be a formula from 0 to, you know. Let's take a look at those expressions again, real quick. Oh man, I am stuck deep into this. Not power. We're not. No, we're kind of looking for a min max. I know that it's not an accumulator. An accumulator just like every time that it hits, it keeps adding. So if you're doing like if you have let's say that you have like a Stream Deck, for example, you can set a button to like every time you hit it, it adds a value. It's kind of like doing like page up. So it's good. So that's what an accumulator does. Then we have BPM. It's obviously B pulse modifier. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. A combiner. Maybe do we use a combiner? No. Because that would... A combiner is kind of like a vectorial math node. Condition modifier is what we're playing with currently. Outputs a set value once an input, right? But what's that set value actually? That's... No. I'm thinking if we... No. Continuous CSV, delay, direction, weight, envelope, expression. We've already messed with the expressions. We know that's not in there. Extractor, gradient remap, input selector, limiter modifier. Hey, this, very honestly, if there's any other questions in the audience, I know that we're like, how can we fix this? But I feel like I'm going into a bottomless pit and I'm going to need some serious help from the Notch folks to like solve this. So I will gladly take any other questions in the meantime. Roops, was there anything else that we can fix in the meantime? Did you have any other notchy questions that you want to go into? Hey, Happy. What's up, bud? Oh, you want to sit in the big boy chair? Sorry, dog break. Our canine executive officer had put his paw down. Gotta do what he says. Range tree map, smooth envelope modifier, quantize. Nope, definitely not a quantizer. Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I am stumpified. Not because what I'm not understanding here about the condition modifier. Do I need to? We have a threshold, and we have our value input, but it just sets a 0 to 1 output. It does not. So the only thing that I can think of is that perhaps we use a condition modifier to specify which of two different so parent come on logic execute, thank you. Select child. So we could use this would be way too much, but basically, what if we had my DMX functions coming in here, and then we'll have one that goes from that. It just feels stupid, right? But basically, we would have two expressions. Where we're basically, and I don't think that's gonna work because then you'd have where you basically have doink. No, not port A, to like port B. So you could say using the condition modifier to set the threshold would select the child, which currently ain't doing diddly squat. No. Perhaps, right? Oh, wait a minute. So we could do value, and then this times value 1, since value, so my math modifier toink and toink. I think I cracked it. So what I'm doing, let's see, poink poink. Oh man, it would suck if this is the case, but at the same time, I would be so happy because I cracked that code, bitches. Um, and basically, you would have to. I there's gotta be an easier way, but basically, by doing it this way, value 0, value 255. Fucking hate these lines. But basically, wait, where's my? It wasn't this supposed to be a continuous modifier? I feel like I got. So definitely moving up and then moving down. 0, up. Wait. Continuous. I lost my continuous modifier. I lost the continuous modifier. What? I need a continuous modifier function. Boink, boink. Boink. Nine. Okay, my logic behind this was that I would take my DMX signal and then use the condition modifiers to basically say when I'm above okay, it's a simple math formula that I can do in AI, but I can't do it in here, which is if I have a value from 0 to 255 should do this function, and then from 0 to 128 should do this function, and from 129 to 255 should do this other function. And you know what? There's no mu parser functions available here, and I'm sure there's a logical way of putting in this through, or I imagine there might be, but yeah, I cannot for the life of me figure this out right now. So what I am going to do now is let's try one other way of doing this, which would be the following. This is very frustrating. I didn't think that I was asking for that much. I really didn't. Continuous modifier at, is it replace supposed to be? I thought. Okay. So there's my continuous mod. Oh, wait a minute. Can I make a negative? That was not the problem that I was having. Speed is 1, but I can perhaps -1. One. It still feels like a long shot. I don't know. What if we were to put the condition modifier math, because this is the value as we're taking it in, right? And so we said, this is fun, guys. This is so much fun. 128 on the offset, scales 255, right? And this should offset's 128, scale 255. No? Speed 0.2. Maybe scale was 128. Yeah, 0 to okay. So that gives me a 0 to 255 value. Wow, I'm not gonna be able to sleep now. Thank you, Notch, for complicating things that don't need to be complicated. And I would shoot myself in the foot if there's an easier way to do this, but if the condition modifier says no, this won't work either. This will just make it so that I have a fast speed to go one way or the other, but it won't. No, I'm gonna let this go, and I'm gonna delete the last 20 minutes of video, and we're gonna call this done until I have an answer from the Notch team. Thank you for hanging out. Was there any other questions that I can answer or just give you more questions about? Yes, apparently I'm really good at finding questions that are related to the question that you originally had. If not, I am going to call that a wild success for today. We definitely got somewhere where we didn't know we could get. Yeah, that is that for now. That's all, folks. I will see you guys. I have another session here in 3 hours, but that's in Spanish for those who want to join us. 5 p.m. Miami time. We're going to be moving on to the next chapter in AI training, which is the output page. If according to the new schedule, Wednesdays, 1 p.m., so same time that we started today, I will be recreating a show. This week, I'm going to be doing Sábado Gigante. I'm going to recreate the Sábado Gigante set as per the last time that I worked the show, but perhaps reimagine it a little bit. And then Friday, we have... stand by. Sorry, I haven't finished the schedule for this week, but I already have confirmations. We have at 1 p.m. we have Michael Meacham. We're going to be talking about his work and his life and all the other good stuff. And then at 5 p.m. we have a creative happy hour with Corey Froke and maybe a couple of the Frokes from his camp. So again, thank you very much everyone who joined in. I will see you guys on the next one, and in the meantime, have a good one. Cheers.